My inquiry question was what exactly is causing the Great Barrier Reef to die? From my first source, I had a book. It was called The Great Barrier Reef Biology, Environment, and Management. This one was my top source because it discusses a lot of things like the variety of organisms that live in the reef, the factors affecting the reef, and ways to help manage it. This book, like I said here, it has an abundance of info that's really useful to my paper because I'm trying to figure out what exactly is causing it to die, and this has lots of reasons. My second source was an article called Understanding Resilience in a Vulnerable Industry, the Case of Reef Tourism in Australia. It's by a researcher who works at the University of Queensland. He discusses a lot of the biodiversity loss and climate change due to tourism and human impact. This one was my least reliable source out of the 5 because there were a lot of experiments and studies throughout the articles that I didn't really get a chance to read all of them. But it interested me because I like to see the effect of tourism actually playing into what's happening to the Great Barrier Reef. My next source was off a government website. The article title was Will the Great Barrier Reef Recover? It was by a meteorologist and climate guru. He talked about how the reef was impacted by coral bleaching and how the reef is recovering, if it is at all, in future bleachings and how they will be more severe than they are now. This interested me because I didn't really realize how severe coral bleaching was and that it was just going to get worse. For my fourth resource, it was another book called A Reef in Time, The Great Barrier Reef from Beginning to End. It discusses a lot of things just like my other book, like the state of the reef now, mass extinctions, the various effects that are causing the decay, which is what I am writing my paper about, and ways we can prevent this stuff from happening, which is something I also wanted to know about. I thought this was interesting because like the other book, like I said, it talks about a lot of the effects and why the reef is dying and about coral bleachings and climate change and things like that. For my last resource is another website. The article was called A Dying Spectacle. The author actually went on a trip to Lizard Island, which is a great spot to see the Great Barrier Reef, and she talked a lot about how climate change is endangering the reef and a lot about coral bleaching. And she talked about different organisms from the reef that are used to come up with different remedies for different illnesses and how if they go extinct then we can't use them anymore. I really liked this one because she was talking about from a tourist point of view and what she saw was actually happening to the reef.